Okay, guys. So, I know my last video said that I was going to try to make Red Hat last as long as possible, which, that only lasted about a couple days. Uh, and that was for some strange issues I was having. What the version of Red Hat that I installed was Red Hat version 9, which just very recently released. And as a result, me being the kind of very unattractively guy I am, led me to having nonstop issues with like constant bugs with like say the Nautilus crashing, which that's your file manager. You really don't want your file manager crashing? I've even had the GNOME terminal application crash on me a few times, which I don't know about that, but last thing I want to be doing is setting up my terminal to launch a tmux session every time I open it, because that can get kind of a bit of a spammy mess if you're just opening a lot of tmux sessions. But anyways, I just figure, you know what? I think it's time that like I gave this other Linux distribution a legitimate shot. And what that distribution is? Well, it's Open Mandriva. And I figured I would go the extra mile and I would install Open Mandriva, and I would install the version that they actually make specific for my hardware, which I think is awesome. But I'm also going to enable the rolling release too. So what you see here is my install like 15 to 20 minutes into it, right? Like I haven't done any theme work or anything on this. Basically all I did was just tell it to just give me a basic KDE look, which they've got a couple cool tools. One thing I do want to mention ahead of time, and this is going to be something that I need to look through like key bindings and stuff to mess with, but the super key that you hear me hitting right now does not actually launch the applications menu, which it does. I think it's actually a standard KDE plasma key binding that's supposed to, because I've never seen that happen on like KDE installations that I've done in the past. But at the same time, I've never really used bone stock KDE myself. I've always used it based off of like a distribution such as Kubuntu or so on. So like I'm not too practiced in actually KDE. But if you want like minimal KDE though, this distribution isn't exactly for you, because it does tend to come with a lot of stuff. So I did take some liberties and I did install a few things, just tools that I'm familiar with and so on. But like it comes with like a VNC viewer. It comes with the entire KDE suite, basically. I don't know what this iftop tool is. I don't know why they have two remote desktop clients, because that's the second one that I've seen now. I did install Steam myself. It does come with Krita, which, Krita is an amazing application. It really is. But at the same time, not everybody needs to be using Krita, For media players, it does come with Simple Screen Recorder, which, I could be using instead of OBS Studio, but, I'm more familiar with OBS Studio because I haven't used Simple Screen Recorder in like 10 years now. But, it's got SM Player and VLC, which I don't understand why we've got two ways of playing videos. And it does come with K-Wave 2, which wow, that kind of opened in a large screen. So K-Wave is an audio editing program. Well, let me just do a quick capturing of a record here. It's a bit unusual about this because when you hit the record button, it's doing this, and I don't really know what's going on. But we'll just hit done there, and it doesn't look like it actually recorded anything. So, you know, just give it a quick open and give it a quick look. But I don't know why that's installed by default. On the Office suites, Open Mandriva is really hard on being very, very much KDE, which would mean that I would expect like the Calibre Office suite or whatever it's called, that is the proper Office suite for KDE. But at the same time, I also personally know that it has not been updated in a while. So I'm not exactly 100% surprised to see LibreOffice showing up in this distribution. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you do need to get some basic Office work done if you need an application like that. Looking through, like, the settings panel here, we see it does come with DNF Dragora, which... if you're an old school Fedora user or like a user of RPM based distributions of days past, you've seen DNF Dragora before, and we all know how horrible it actually kind of is. So let me just see if I can pull up Neofetch here. You know, just type it into the search bar, check the box. How do we... Oh yeah, just go down here, click apply. Okay. Yeah, and you know, it's a package management tool that I'm probably not going to keep around for very long because it's kind of horrible. When it comes to applications such as this, it's nice to, like, you know, search the repositories. It's kind of nice to actually have a GUI tool for that, you know? Sometimes. Not all the time, but, you know, sometimes. But, you know, it's just like you can click through a couple of the categories here and just see what's going on in here. Oh, they have the real-time audio patches in here. Okay. But, you know, just kind of look through, and then, like, the search bar, we can search too. Like, I can tell you right now, Discord's not in the repository. In fact, there's a couple things that are not in the repository. But anyways, let me pull up a terminal. I want so bad to just type terminal into this, which you know, doesn't work until you accidentally type it a couple times, then type console afterwards. But let's just go and run the Neofetch here real quick. This will just give us basic information on the system. This is Open Mandriva, specifically the rolling release, which does not change the version OS name, at least in a way that Neofetch can see. So it'll actually be Open Mandriva LX rolling, x86-64. Of course, because I told it to be the rolling release, it's going to run a very modern kernel, 5.17. It comes with a lot of RPMs installed. I didn't install that many. At least I don't think I did. But 2,810. So this is not your unbloated system. And of course, all this other stuff. I mean, we already know that's KDE Plasma, which we're on Plasma 5.23, which I think is actually kind of on the older side. But Open Mandriva is RPM based, and it uses DNF for its package manager, which, you know, is actually kind of cool. So if you've used Fedora and you're like me and you love DNF, let me just go ahead and try to install something like say htop. At least I don't think it comes on the system. Oh, okay, yeah, it's on the system. So tmux. So this is the one thing that I actually really enjoy about DNF. It's this breakout here too. It's actually a wonderful package manager because you can see that I'm pulling it for like this architecture right here. I'm pulling in specifically this version, and it's telling me where it's pulling it from. It's like while apt is a faster package manager, DNF, just like the output of DNF, is so much more useful. You can see that it downloads the package. It gives you a nice little progress bar if you're into that thing. Then it's going to run a transaction check and just check it. Make sure that it actually downloaded the file that it was supposed to. And of course, it's going to test the file. Just an SHA checksum on every single file DNF will download, and it'll do all those checks before it even begins to install it. Which it installed successfully, so now I have tmux. Yay! But this is a pretty interesting application. But let's pull up this here. So this here is the welcome screen. It's nice that this distribution ships with the welcome screen, because these type of screens are actually very useful in telling you generally useful things about your distribution, which this thing tells you, talks about it. And we can go through. This is actually a really cool GUI tool, the Repo Picker. So when I opened this up, I saw update channel, and I'm like, what is this? And I can click through. Oh yeah, it's going to error on me, which makes sense. But you can see that they've got 4 different repositories you can pull from. You can pull from release, rock, rolling, and cooker. So what I've been able to determine is that release is you don't want any system updates. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, you might get an update every now and then, but you're not really that interested in them. Rock is like, this is like their stable branch. If you're on Rock, you're on a point release, and you're going to get supported for the duration of that point release. And I don't really know what like their support release cycle is. Rolling is the branch that I'm currently using, which is I think it's more equivalent to like Debian unstable, and then cooker is like their version of unstable. And then you can see that it's got additional options as well. You can see that, of course, main is going to be commented out because you don't want to turn off the main repository. But this is an opt-in distribution for restricted or non-free packages. So they do take open source at least kind of seriously, I hope. So I did check the 2 boxes because I like that stuff. And then if you scroll down even more, you can enable some third-party repositories, to grab the Brave web browser, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge is in here for some reason. Skype, beta versions of Skype, of which they of course tell you should probably use Telegram. Like if you're looking through these, you can see every single one of these they give you alternatives for, which that's great. Like even Visual Studio Code, they strongly recommend using Qt Creator, Kdevelop, and other alternative IDEs. I've never used any of those. But I have messed around with VS Code a bit. But it's cool that they have the repositories there if for some reason you need them. And then the desktop presets. This is basically just like a panel layout for you. Like I can set like the Plasma panel layout. They have their own panel layout with Open Mandriva, which is very similar to the Plasma panel layout, but not quite. They have one that mimics Windows 10, they have one that mimics Ubuntu, Windows 7, and even Mac OS. And of course they have a checkbox for dark theme. And then update configuration, you can tell it to automatically update, which, I'm using the rolling release. Maybe I don't want to do that. So you know what, I'm at least willing to have them downloaded on the system. And then when I go to run the update, then I can do that. Then we have a bug report tool and a control center, which, their control center application, which looks like it's single clicked open. It gives you access to a lot of stuff. Like you can see that I can access stuff here. I can get to my local disks. I can deal with the network connection and all that. This is all stuff that you can access in the KDE system menu too. They have the Grub bootloader repair tool, which, I haven't seen or have had to use this thing in a very long time. But it's basically a GUI tool to install and manage Grub. You can see I can click this open and look at all the kernels I have available to me. I can set it to automatically boot the default entry, which, maybe I don't want 10 seconds. Give me 3 seconds to decide on that. I think that sounds pretty good. Yep. And you just run a save on there. It'll modify like /etc/default grub with the option that you picked, and then it'll rerun grub make config. And then of course we can theme it too, right? I mean, we can theme our grub with a GUI tool. Linux kernel. Oh, I could set a custom resolution. And then, we can even set colors in here too, and even pick a new image. So it's just like we can write scrub from a GUI tool here. Security, we can enable security and, lock some stuff. We can add custom entries in here too if we want to get fancy. I mean, this tool allows you to do quite a bit of stuff, Oh, I can install different desktop environments from here too. Huh. I just learned that. But, we can manage keys, configure firewall. I mean, the control center does grab a couple things that aren't in the KDE settings. At least I don't think they are. But, the KDE settings are kind of very comprehensive to begin with. We can go through a couple more things here. Like they have a whole list of like recommended applications, which I think is cool of them. And then like the welcome tool and the control panel are, I mean, they're GUI applications that typically you would use a terminal to deal with this stuff. So I'm glad, it's cool that it's there. They do ship with Discover, which is the KDE App Store, which, if I had to pick between KDE and GNOME based off of like their app stores, I would probably pick KDE's because it generally works a lot quicker than GNOME software does. So it's just like you can go in here, I think we can even manage updates with this tool, but I haven't really looked that much. But, it's cool that it's there. So it's just like, but, one thing I do want to say, though, is that Open Mandriva ships with KDE's Falcon web browser as the only web browser you get. You can install Firefox Chromium. They're in the repositories, But I do highly recommend that you give KDE Falcon a look, because it is a Blink-based web browser, but it's not Chromium. It just uses the Blink web engine, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like, and it's a fairly comprehensive browser, which I think, that's pretty cool. But anyways, guys, I've got a couple applications on this already. I did set up and enable flatpaks, which to install like Discord and like my password manager, which I use Bitwarden. Not a sponsor. But I think I might be sticking around on this. I do want to see if I can get like Timeshift up and working, because I did load up Timeshift, but for some reason like Timeshift is not able to read the disks, and I'm not really certain why. But I just figured I'd give this distribution another shot, because last time I only gave it about 12.5 minutes, long enough to download Gen 2 and install Gen 2, which, like I said previously, Gen 2's been failing me lately. So we're just looking around in all these other places for now. But anyways, guys, if you would like access to all of my videos well before they show up on YouTube, go down to the description of the video. There's 2 links there. One for a PeerTube instance, and another one for my library channel. Which, if you don't know what library is, you've probably heard of Odyssey. Odyssey is just a front end for library. I always post directly to library, but that you can look at my channel on Odyssey, because I think Odyssey is like the website front end that's available for library, which it's not the only one. But it's the most popular one. But anyways, guys, whenever I upload a video, I upload to those 2 places first. They get the videos before YouTube even does, and I publish them the moment they're uploaded. So YouTube's always going to get the videos every Thursday at 2 p.m. But if for some reason you just want to catch my videos ahead of time, go to those other 2 places. You can also scroll down even a little bit more down to that Amazon wishlist link and buy me a book. Because, I'm a bit of an avid reader, and I still got some empty space on my shelves here behind me. They're not full yet. But, when they do get full, I do have a bookshelf in there too. So maybe one of you guys could get me a bookshelf, right? But anyways, I'm out.